So I thought I'd do a quick video basically addressing something that was brought up in my Webley video, and it's talking about the Webley extractor star, which is really cool. It's really unique. So before I get there, let's talk about some commonly understood concepts with other extractors and ejectors, and here's an AR-15 bolt. Basically, the extractor on an AR-15 is this one, the little cutaway area, or this portion of your bolt, that it is completely removable, but also there is a sharp tooth on the inside of that, which essentially, as the bolt comes back, it rips the round out of the chamber. So as soon as that round becomes clear from the chamber, you have this opposite side. And again, this is very rudimentary, basic stuff that most everyone knows. You have this cylindrical metal piece that it's under some spring tension. As a matter of fact, it should be under a lot of spring tension. Essentially what happens is as soon as and it's pushed down with the brass seated inside under the extractor tooth, as soon as it's freed from the chamber, that round ejector starts applying pressure, causing the round to kick out. That's also why you need to be aware of the orientation of the extractor and the ejector, because if you put it in backwards, it's just going to try to eject into the upper receiver wall. That's a bad thing. You don't want that. So AR-15 bolt, extraction, ejection, easy stuff. Let's go into something that a lot of people are already very familiar with. I'm going to hit a Glock 20, so 10 millimeter. It's a larger gun. Because it's larger, it's just going to be easier to explain. Same exact principles are applied here, though instead of the ejector and the extractor all being on one thing, the extractor is on the slide and the ejector is part of the frame, the polymer frame. So same thing, same principle, exact same principles. The extractor is the tooth protrusion on the ejection side. With the extractor, actually the extractor is that weird, if you can see it, and if you've messed with Glocks, you're familiar with it. It's that piece right there that's sticking up. It's bent that way for a reason. It's interesting. That's one of the things that I remember being brought up in earlier armor schools, like back in the early 2000s. People seeing that and thinking it's damaged, that's how it's designed. That's what it's doing. So as the round is pulled out of the chamber by the extractor, the ejector is going to start applying pressure to force that round or the spent case out. Cool technology, cool design, nice. So let's go into a modern double action revolver, and I'm going to use a 45 Colt Ruger Red Hawk. So it's a larger, big, it's a beast. But because it's so large, because it's so overbuilt, we can almost put double charges. Don't do that in this, and it can withstand it, kind of. I don't know. I don't reload. So cylinder release. You have the ejector rod. You apply pressure to the ejector rod that causes the extractor star to come out. The extractor star is what is holding all the rounds in place. So rounds are in the cylinder. They rest on the extractor star. Apply pressure to the ejector rod, and the star starts to lift, lifting all the brass with it. If you do it quickly, and if you have it in an orientation where the gravity is going to help you, it's going to help kick out the brass much more freely. Still, there's a possibility you might need to pick out brass, not an issue. There is an issue, however, if the brass gets under the star, then that's a pain in the ass. Avoid that. Another thing to pay attention to with the size of the extractor rod is its overall length. If the length was unusually short for the length of the case, that is not going to help with unloading all the spent brass. So a longer ejector rod is your friend, because if this is the length of the brass, it's going to unload so much easier. But if the length of the brass is longer than the ejection rod, you might run into some issues. And we've seen that in other firearms. So going back in history now, we're going to go into a Ruger Blackhawk. And the reason I say back in history is because it's just basically cowboy action, single action. So we open the loading gate, and so this is this is a newer model, so the cylinder spins free with this newer Blackhawk as soon as you open the loading gate. It has nothing to do with a half cock or anything like that, because we don't have that on this specific revolver. Also built like a tank. So let's say we have this completely loaded, we fire, now we have spent brass. You open the loading gate, and this little button right here, basically you push down, and then if you look at the open chamber right there, the open cylinder, that's the extractor rod, or ejector rod. And it's spring loaded, so you just press on it, and it's just going to go one at a time. So then we go to the next one, press the button, and out pops the brass. As opposed to our double action, where our double action is we're doing all 6, 5, 7, 8, whatever, at once. Now let's go into the future from a cowboy gun, which is the Webley Mark 6. I think it's a Mark 6. Cool design. Basically, you have this latch here. You press down on the latch, which basically unhooks the pivoting frame. It pivots from this point right here. Now, watch the extractor star as we rotate upward. All by itself, it starts rising. Now, if you do it quick, and also if you have it oriented in a way that gravity helps, you're going to clear the brass real fast. If you go slow, you might screw yourself, and you might get brass stuck underneath. Cool design, old design, but it still works. It's really cool. My Enfield does the exact same thing. You hit the latch, you release the upper frame, and then pivot. Cool stuff. That's pretty much it. Just extractions, ejections from various guns. Maybe a frame of reference for some. Hopefully this might also give you a better idea, if you don't already have it, of how some of this stuff works. But that's pretty much it. I just thought I'd make a fun little video. So we'll talk to you later.